Oh, that was loud. Hello, friend. Welcome. OJL is the title. That means this is an Oracle Juice Live. You ain't got a drink. I'm gonna be drinking. I just finished. It didn't take me as long as I thought, but I just finished using the Hero's Journey spread trademark Rob Kenobi. Um, and yeah, it was hard to like get started, as I'm sure a lot of journeys are. There's so much that is unknown at the beginning of the journey that you sort of find out as your journey. You know, the hero sometimes starts as a clueless whatever. But yeah, it was interesting and illuminating. I would highly recommend you do it. Uh, I'm going to use the Diceology cards, the Angelarium, Oracle of Emanations, and I just want to see what's up with the elements. So I have the Elemental Oracle, and we're just going to see what is up. Do not let the shape of the container belie its contents, even without its label. This is indeed, it's mead. So, not sponsored by the bottler of either the mead or the original beverage. And there was a bit in it that had froze when I was drinking it. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's melting now. But it was frozen in the bottom, so I couldn't even like eat the frozen liquid. But as soon as I poured the other beverage in it, it floated to the top. So now it's melting. We'll just see what I feel like something interesting came out. Now it was my hero's journey, so it doesn't necessarily make it collective. Um, but something interesting. I feel like there were cards that no one would be surprised to see. If you watch me, I feel like you wouldn't be surprised to see them. The surprise may be in the position they came out in, maybe. Um, it was interesting. There was some interesting synchronicity. But something that came out was, I don't want to say a need to not let certain things. It was something that was like, if there is a mess, like we always take things as it resonates. But if there is, for certain messages, it's important that we communicate whatever it is that we have to communicate because you don't want it to. It's almost like not leaving it open for someone else to interpret, but it's because of not a potential misinterpretation, but it's almost like, I guess you could say, the message is given to who it's given to in a way that they will relay it, right? Um, in a way that maybe is for them to relay it. Because again, misinterpretation can lead to confusion, and more so than confusion, it's just like, I don't know, like things not being as they were intended to be, because they are. are intended a certain way for a reason. Like there's a certain purpose behind something. And if it's misinterpreted, that purpose could be lost. And then it's I don't know why inert ever since the but the Ace of Swords challenge, the word is inert. Um it's like something can be rendered inert because it's not being used in the correct way. Duma Angel of Dreams at the bottom of that. Excuse me, Duma used to come out all the time. All right, so let's just get started. Where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence, nesting, and preparation is at the bottom of the diceology. That's good. Actually, yeah, we'll get two of these. I'll pull top and bottom after two. Oh, that was a third flip and a cut. Is the day of longest light or night a garment for all occasions and filling a gap? Five of clubs. Bottom of the deck is a depth of materialization, a murky mind or will, and clouded vision, the four of hearts. Clouded vision almost giving, of course, the energy of that fog. Five clubs, four of hearts, bottom of the deck, nine of hearts, five plus four is nine. A blip of light at the heart of a black hole. Progenitors in a primordial pool. There's moon energy here. Moon, Emperor, and Hangman. Also, yeah, progenitors in a primordial pool is interesting. This come out earlier. We're in a space. It's almost like this the change. Trying to see if I can see the ice. Can you see it? It's like a thin. Yeah, you see that. Can you see the ice in there? According to the cards, it's almost like so back it all the way back to the beginning of life on Earth. The single celled organisms and the nutrients, elements in their environment, and when I don't know, life to be. You could say long before consciousness, or at least long before consciousness embodied things on the planet. Maybe the consciousnesses that were on the planet were more primordial spirits of the volcanoes. I don't know. Like how that was the beginning of all life, and how we can look back and say that the environment wasn't conducive to life as we, but for the beginnings of life, it was perfect. Like we are there, basically. And it's like the world that unfolds from here is so essentially vastly different than the one that we live now or that we have been living. That it's going to be like, wow, like that was the beginning. Like when people didn't even this or that or whatever. Now, this alludes to solstices. The day of longest light is the summer solstice. The day of longest night is the winter solstice. A garment for all occasions is so. I feel like when I wrote that, it was so. It was relatively clear because I kind of had a partial vision, and still I was like, wait. but it's something that's like good all year. It's almost like, kindness. It's always in season. Uh, Adaptive materialization, a murky mind of will, and clouded vision. Clouded vision. I think this clouded vision almost plays into the whole like sometimes it's important for things not to be left up to interpretation. All right, which angel is that? Keter, the crown spirituality at the bottom of the deck. Maybe that goes for like connection. Ooh, this is probably one of those where I could have just stayed offline, but I could always like delete it or hide it. Keter again, spirituality at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I thought that one. I didn't know if that would be my number one. I'm like, you're too loud. Come back. Uh, what else was on there? A blip of light at the heart of a black hole. It's interesting that the blip of light at the heart of a black hole is there because of the ventures through the void and whatever that ICC was. It's like you shroud your light in darkness so that you can go into the void and not disrupt the space. You find within the void anything that you may desire for whatever reason. You send out a little, like barely visible, barely noticeable. What does this mean, girl? Your guess is as good. Your guess is as good as mine. You send out your little light tendril to like basically attach to the things that you want to bring out of the void. And then you can either make the transit back out of the void or you can just like dial up your light to the point where the void like expels you. And then because you have your little light tethers, like all from the void, everything that you connected to will come with. I guess the thing too would be if there are dark shadows within the void and you are bright enough. I don't think this is necessarily a thing, but to the maybe novice, what would you call it? Spelunker. There are things that may like notice you and just kind of sort of like hook up in there. And then when you get expelled, they kind of like get expelled with you. And now you done ventured into the void, maybe haphazardly, and you done found an attachment that you don't want. I just got the first piece of ice because I was like shaking the bottle and everything. And then I was like, oh, I can just like use this ice for an OJL. I had a bottle of mead in the mini fridge. Um, I don't know. That's why it's very like take it as it resonates. It's very like I feel like I can see or understand how some things may be. Uh, you. I was just thinking about you. um, that's kind of sort of partially the reason why I was like, I don't want to be like the first person that someone finds on YouTube. I don't like want to be for beginners necessarily because it feels like for a lot of stuff, sovereignty. I want to say sovereignty. is important, and a deep self awareness, because you don't want to necessarily, depending on, I guess, what you're looking for and the environment, you don't want to go into a space and be changed. Hey, oh my gosh, long time no speak. How you doing? Because again, it's like you don't want to pick up hitchhikers while you're whatever. You don't want to, and depending on the space, it feels like it can be easy to not only lose sight of the self, but for things to maybe come up that we may not be ready for. I feel like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of what to me it seemed like in Patrick's own world. There are things that I will see as a metaphor. Like I'll see something behind a circumstance happening that may not necessarily be true for the, like if it's something that I witness more, more so than experience. Me, that experience makes me think of this. Now, what the experience looks like, what the experience conjures to me isn't necessarily the same as what the person experienced and what that experience meant for them, if that makes sense. So it was like the experience that someone else had was a metaphor, and this is how I interpret the metaphor from someone else's lived experience. That makes sense. My interpretation or what it means to me and what it meant to the person who was actually there do not have to align. For me, this is what it's you get it or you don't. But it was like the keeper of Karnak. And the keeper of Karnak almost stood as a gatekeeper to a space that was all light. And so it was, it's partially a function of the space, it's partially the keeper that almost makes things so bright that it accentuates or exaggerates shadow. And so if our shadow isn't like locked down, I guess you could say, if our shadow isn't locked down, then that luminous light again will like make it very big and very dark, because that's what light does the closer you get to it. Like if I do this, oh my gosh, he's eclipsing the ring light. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm all the way back here and I do that, I can partially obscure, but it's not the same effect as like if I'm up here. You know what I mean? So anyway, um, that was on like the light side. The keeper chronic is like that exaggerated shadow. But on the dark side, depending on how we approach the void, it can swallow our light, which may look something like a dark night. But I guess if you exaggerate the shadow, it can also look something like a dark night. Lots of things can look like dark nights. Anyway, why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, that's why I was like, and I feel like even my tone sometimes, it's like we are where we are. Oh my gosh. Accidentally snagged the cord. Almost lost audio. It's fine. Who's at the bottom of the deck? Shartail, Angel of Silence. Well, the silence is broken. Let's see if Shartail can focus the camera for me. There we go. There we go. Silence had to walk it back. We just saw the silence yesterday, didn't we? Or was that was yesterday? I didn't use the Oshos in today. Did I? No. Today I used the in dream and the tarot dreams. So that was yesterday. I mean, I guess that was yesterday. I used it the day before. Anyway, happy almost. last supermoon of the year, full moon, Aries. I think the astrology right now is kind of interesting. The most interesting thing that I picked up was there is an exact sextile between Black Moon Lilith in Libra and Lilith in Sagittarius. Right now, according to Time Nomad, Lilith is 12 degrees 38 minutes Sagittarius, and Black Moon Lilith is 12 degrees 10 minutes Libra. Also at 12 degrees of Sagittarius is Pallas Athena, and she's at 12 degrees 54 minutes, so almost the 13th degree. Um, oh, anyway, that's what I really like sort of pick on. Right now, the moon is exactly conjunct Chiron, retrograde at 21 degrees 5 minutes, moon in Aries at 21 degrees 24 minutes. The sun is at 24 degrees of Libra, so the moon has a few degrees until it hits that exact opposition. Anyway, um, yeah. So the reason why that it's partially ego, it's partially the things that we have to face. The reason why I was like, I don't want to be like someone's first, whatever. Um, and also because my temperament, I guess you could say, it's not a lack of compassion. Maybe it's like tough love, um, or it's just an acknowledgement that we are at different parts along our journey at different times in our lives, and sometimes we need a gentler hand. And I'm not always interested in being a gentler force because sometimes we can be so gentle for so long that we end up in complacency. So sometimes a wake up call is necessary. Anyway, let's get into the angels. Which angel, if any? I'll give it 5 shuffles after I do this to see if any angel wants to come up and co-sign this. Because if not, then hey, we just out here. One, I want a clean flip or a clean fall. Two, okay. Bottom of the deck is the Zeraphel Angel of Song. Of course, the angel that came out leading the charge. My boy, never let me down, never let me down. Duma, Angel of Dreams, with Shantae on Angel of Silence. There's an angel that flew all the way to and somehow ended up beneath the Elemental Oracle. Hey, Holly, how you doing? Somehow ended up beneath the Elemental Oracle. These are the cards, right? So I guess it flew out of my hand and went and burrowed under at the bottom of the deck. Oh, Crucial Angel of Punishment. I don't know if I've too much seen her. Rain Fecundity is at the bottom of the deck. Uh wow, way to be insensitive. Oh, like couldn't even give it another week. Mm, there's something about I'll I'll set Cushiel to the side. There's something very interesting here. It's almost like Matilda, where Miss Trunchbull made that one kid eat the cake because, like, rain was fecundity. But if it rains too much, too hard, or if it doesn't stop, it can like wash something away. Excuse me, and that was almost like it's a punishment of receiving in excess. So I wasn't embarrassed. Two angels came out. Technically three. One of them, I wasn't necessarily trying to go there. Wow. See, this is almost like a curse of Jupiter when there's like too much expansion, when there's too much growth, and it becomes kind of like big C, which is uncontrolled, unrestrained growth, growth that comes at the expense of everything. It's an insatiability that leads the self to a destruction of some kind. Let's read Duma and Shataya. So, well, I found Kushio first. Kushio's right above Shataya. But I think Duma's kind of good. I haven't used this thing. See, Samikio Angel of Vengeance is one that used to come out a little bit more, but maybe I've seen Kushio like once. Duma. Docent to the unknown. Duma is the impetus. Oh. Duma is the impetus to doubt a false reality, to crack the shell keeping you from the truth. When the world shifts around you, Duma is your guide. The world is stranger than you believed it to be. What we all dream, we dream to. Those dreams full in Duma's cupped hands. Look below the surface of the water. You know you've missed them, and yet you wonder what. You listen closely, and yet you hear nothing. All the while, you dream the truth you think you seek. It is said that Duma and Laeliel are connected. The truth of this can only be found within Angel Area. Signs of Duma are a reflection, water, a golden cage, and an eye. So it's interesting that it says you listen closely and yet you hear nothing because the other angel that came out is the angel of silence. And it's almost like this is the reason why it's important that some things not be left up to interpretation. Because where it tries to take down a veil of deception and reveal falsity of a reality, the misinterpretation will almost reinforce that false reality. Shatael, oh girl, went too far. Hold up, this ain't. They're not even. Neither one of them are on this page. Here we go. Shut up. So this is Duma. There is a silver and gold to Duma, almost. There was something was unraveling yesterday, wasn't it? No, that's when I did the booster pack. And the booster pack reading There was one card, I feel like it was the booster pack or something was unraveling. And there's something about the ribbon that like dances off to the side. It's almost like if there is a sweater with a frayed thread, if you pull that one thread, the whole thing will fall apart. Shatael, angel of silence. Words fail, the wind dies, the earth comes to a rest. Shatael descends, in stillness. New forms for all things emerge, touched by the elusive fingers of the angel Shatael. Space fills with silence, and void, love it already, void gains new meaning. We are held still by the grip of its presence. Fear is useless, as its presence is almost always brief. Silence slides over your ears, enveloping your awareness completely, as if you've closed your eyes. Take a moment, take the silence within you, and use it to still the tremors of your soul. Chatael wills it. Signs are a feather, a chair, and a person meal. And then Crucio, angel of punishment. Oh my gosh, these are all connected. This is wild. The hunter whose prey is falsehood. Cruciel hunts falsehood. Duma reveals falsehood, but it leaves a sort of silence in its wake, and then the angel of silence again is here. Void gains new meaning. Interesting. The hunter whose prey is falsehood. Oath breakers beware. Crucial will seek you out. Even as you stalk your own victims, punishment is upon you. No one who escapes the mark of Crucial. What? No one who escapes the mark of Crucial. I think it's no escapes the mark of Crucial. There are consequences for breaking your word. The pieces sharpen and get into your flesh, embed themselves within your heart. So long as the offense stands, you will always be held in the sights of the hunter. Seeking absolution is noble, however tedious. Begin that day with haste, lest Crucial find you first. So seeking absolution is noble, however tedious. Begin that journey with haste, lest Crucial find you first. Yeah. Signs of Crucial are a spear, a shaft of light, a raven. Interesting. And she came with, or they came with rain, which is number 35. Five is an eight. We are in an eighth year. Rain fecundity. I'll read it. The conditions of greater prosperity are being met. Know that all will be well. Cleanse yourself of old, outdated views. You have everything you need to grow. Let yourself be cleansed. Words of power, fecundatio, Latin for fruitfulness. The sound of rain on leaves or a tin roof, the sweet smell of rain as it hits the thirsty earth after a hot day, the simple pleasures of life. You soon know how much rain contributes to the balance and health of a land when you haven't had any for a long time. You also understand how much it contributes to the positive mental health of communities that have been locked in drought states for a considerable length of time. Rain is liquid water from the atmosphere that has become heavy enough to fall under gravitational pull. It is a part of life-giving water cycle, of the life-giving water cycle, and is the main supplier of fresh water to the land. Raindrops can vary in size due to temperature, the rate of coalescence. The amount of rain helps form biomes and ecosystems. element of water. Without rain, we have less fecundity. Plants that supply food do not thrive without rain or ocean. Drought affects small animals and pollinators such as fruit bats and bees, which are integral to the production of food. Some biomes are wetter than others and have almost constant rainfall, such as rainforests. Human intervention has influenced rain patterns. Particles of solid or liquid matter suspended in the air can increase cloud condensation and trigger a rain event. Man made global warming is also affecting patterns, with some areas being drier and some had more intense rainfall. Something about it took me a while to get to the point. Um, Human intervention has influenced rain patterns. Particles of solid or liquid matter suspended in the air can increase cloud condensation and trigger a rain event. There's something about what is put into the air that coalesces moisture around it, condenses, and falls to the earth, which leads to an increase in rain events because without those things in the air, there would be nothing for the moisture to condense around to get heavy enough to fall. So there's almost, in essence, oh my gosh, that's the second time I've snagged the cord. Last time the headset disconnected and reconnected and we lost audio. Oh, I am dealing with angels, so I need to, because apparently the last few times I tried to go to the angels, the live shut down. No, they said, shh. I said, okay. Oh, but the angel of punishment gets to come in. Now, see, y'all think it's me. The angel of punishment gets to come and like nothing happens to the stream. Um, there's something about so the man-made intervention that puts things into the air feels like it is related to the falsehood that Duma is trying to call out that Kushio hunts that creates silence in spaces. If we, in relation to the void, in relation to the void, okay, fire is at the bottom of the deck. I feel like I just lost half of these cards. The Grateful Chant just came into my mind. I did so many of these cards fell on the floor. There are a few cards that are face up, though. I will read the cards that are face up. Now this is face. Oh, great. More cards to read. Speaking of Miss Trunchbull, Matilda and her read or whatever she said. Interesting. So the Eight of Clubs and the King of Diamonds fell on the floor face up. The Eight of Clubs is an immediately met request, a land where all seasons reside, and a return to center. A land where all seasons reside, it's a land where they all reside simultaneously. A bell that brings the physical and intangible into harmony as it pulses out into the universe. Collision or cohesion is the King of Diamonds. Did we not see the King of Pentacles earlier? Yes, the King of Pentacles was the first of four cards. It was the King of Pentacles, Death, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Palace of Swords earlier. Now, at the bottom, because I put it on the table face up, of this little mini pile of cards is the six of diamonds. A single blade cuts through the tempest, calming the winds. A dislodged hunk of cheese. The dislodged hunk of cheese, it feels like whatever falsehood being removed. At the bottom of the deck, Ace of Diamonds, Chain Link, a Divine Codex, an arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds. This arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds that accumulate around whatever this falsity is, I guess is Cushiel. Cushiel is the arrow, even though its sign is a spear. Cushiel is the arrow that pierces the clouds that coalesce around these falsities. Oh, gosh. I feel like I should. I feel like I've done these often enough where I regret it. And I'm like, I should have just went to bed. There is a certain severity. Um, there's a certain again, it's like a certain severity that's necessary because falsehood is so like rampant and pervasive. When in doubt, pinky out. Oh my goodness, it's starting to hit now. All right, we'll do three. One. Oh, two. Oh my gosh, three. Music came out number 28, now 24. Joy. Off low Duma with enough separation. Face down, connecting Crucial to fecundity. We had to see 36 earlier. I don't think we did. I've seen a 36 recently. I know I have. What would it have been? I don't think it was the um, magical dimensions, oracle cards, and activators. I don't know. I feel like it was in a deck that I haven't used in a while. Bixby or Google didn't say 36, so I know it wasn't in the mystical shaman. Maybe it was in the end dream. It's fine. We're not getting it tonight. There is no thunder with this rain. Or I don't this is interesting because this is talking about the rain clouds, especially after Kushiel is this arrow, this thrown spear that breaks the clouds, preventing or slowing these falsehoods' ability to lead to any kind of fecundity. I don't know. It almost feels like it's like even if the cloud is broken, the charge, I don't, it's like the charge isn't dissipated. And so then you just have like a bunch of charged air. The saying fire without light is like zeal without knowledge or something like that. It's coming to mind. Zealotry without knowledge. I think it's like zeal. Fire without light is like zeal without knowledge. Because it's like there's this thunder, but there's no rain. I don't know. But joy is over here. Oh, okay. Joy came out. Again, I'm looking before and after the elements. I'm going to look for water, air, earth, and fire, not elements that correspond to those elements, but the elements. And I'm going to pull the card after because I don't want a million more cards. So, breath, marine life, and oceans are at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Not reading it. Take that as it resonates. Okay. Underwater is earth, and under earth is the sun. So that's two of our elements down. Under wind is time. Excuse me. And so fire, under fire is pressure. 26 and 8, which is an 8 8. Under that is plants, growth. Before that was storms, cleansing. So, because the storm is cleansing, there's something about the falsehood. The purpose of a storm is to cleanse, is to provide something that is much needed. But it's almost like there is no cleansing in the storms that are in. It's almost like, metaphorically at least, that's why the electricity is in reverse. If we're talking about the falsehoods that man likes to use to bring about a certain fecundity with rainfall, there is rain, but there's never any lightning. There's never any lightning because the purpose of the storm is cleansing. And so it's almost like so it's like the is whatever that fall is that coalesce the rain before produce the storm that cleanses. So it's almost like the energy. It's I don't want to say the word. It's almost like the as charge begins to build up, and as the energy of the storm, maybe it wasn't always that way. Um, okay, so it's almost like we will drown ourselves. I don't want to say they will drown themselves because people feel a certain type of way say you and they. We will drown ourselves before we conjure any more storms. And that is almost the punishment of Cushiel. So we do one thing, thinking that it will produce a certain effect, and that that effect will be perceived by others as whatever. This electricity is not allowed, like charge is not allowed up to the point where it creates a thunderstorm. But under the guise of falsehood, we want for a certain to be made manifest. And so we will more and more and more and more and more falsehood into the atmosphere to coalesce because we believe if we get enough coalescence, eventually storm, but the storm never comes. And we essentially rain ourselves out. We wash ourselves out. And that's the punishment. The punishment is to allow the storm, but not, no, the punishment is to allow the rain, but not the storm. Because the purpose of the storm is to cleanse. So the very first thing that would be cleansed by the storm that is generated under falsehood is the falsehood itself. That is the sail of the storm. So it's like self eliminating. To try to conjure a storm under falsehood is self eliminating. So we have earth, the sun, time, and pressure as what is brought about by the elements of water, earth, air, and fire. Time is discipline, pressure brings transformation, the sun brings light, and earth is home. Light, discipline, and transformation are brought home. There are certain things that Duma, again, because of silence, there are certain things. There are certain things that can't be revealed. They can't be told. They must be observed or witnessed. It still feels like joy is like just flowing out here, not necessarily connected to anything. It's the music. It could, like, we could say it's the music of the spheres that create this pressure that leads to the transformation. I don't know. This is interesting. Oh, all the ice is melted. Sad day. I'm feeling it. I feel like the world is moving at about 0.75 playback speed. Everything is like slowing down. I remember the first time I went to a bar. I was like, I feel like I'm moving in slow motion. Anyway, and it may be related to this divine codex. I don't know. We're just gonna get ton of cards. I would love for like a super sweet message to just like come out. You know what I mean? To not read what it seems like I read, but I have accepted my lot in life, I guess. Who was that? Aziraphale, the Angel of Song, was at the bottom of the deck over here. Under Aziraphale is Gavura, the heart. Gavura is not the heart. Tiferet is the heart. This is the left hand of judgment. Under the angel of song is the left hand of judgment. Ooh. Under that is ranked the angel of time. Um, this is a time. It's a time that's marked with transformation on the earth. I almost want to say the thing about the sun is that it nurtures. The thing of the sun is that it provides light. The sun isn't necessarily. The word that comes to my mind is discerning, but that's not the word I use. The sun doesn't discriminate. When it rises for everybody unless we are in the presence of something that obstructs light. And so it's almost like if we think of the sun or the light of the sun, because it was light, it illuminates. But it's almost like the non discrimination of the sun. It's almost like if we plant bad seeds, then they will receive as much light as the good seeds. Weeds receive as much light as everything else. What we deem to be weeds receives just as much light, everything. Like light touches everything. And so it's almost like if we, at least for a while, if we want to grow, if we sow seeds of falsehood, then the sun will nurture them just as it nurtures everything else. And I don't know if that's something that reads like confirmation bias or if it reads like whatever we wish to see in the world, we will see. I don't know. The sun isn't withheld. The love of the divine isn't withheld. Um, and it's obviously not to say that, well, maybe it should be. Um, but it's like the sun shines on everything. And so it's almost like we can't rely on the sun, or at least we can't rely on the sun alone to root anything out. All right, let's get these final cards so I can end this live so I can go to bed. For a second, I was thinking I had something to do tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, no, I don't have, well, as far as I know, I don't have anything to do. I need to have something to do. I'll leave in less than a week. I guess technically I'll touch down in London in a week, but I'll leave in less than a week, and I am so ready. I'm so ready. I'm so excited. I got people to see and places to be. I was trying to go in like April. Finally, my time has come. I was I think I was telling my mom, I was like, I might mess around one of these times, go over there and not come back. Shoot, I don't know. I can't explain why London is one of my happy places. It just is. I remember a few years ago, I went to Darlington and then I went to London. And Darlington was cute, but as soon as we like entered the city limits or whatever, It's like my soul's just like came alight. I don't know what it is about London, but it does. I think one of my, I don't know if it's a Venus line or a Jupiter line. It actually goes through Ireland, I think. My Venus and Jupiter lines actually cross in Japan. And I've been wanting to go to Japan since I was literally in the fifth grade. So for over 2 decades now. And as much as I love going to London, I really want to make my next trip be Japan. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm ready. I never thought it would have been my life, but I guess it is. It just so happens to work out almost once a year. I find myself over. I have no idea. Darlington was cute. I like the vibe. I also think I didn't really get to do much while I was there, um, because my friend had to work, and then on the weekend we went to London, and I guess I was only there. I think I was working at the time, so I was only there for maybe a week. But I have like 19 days this time. I'm excited, ready. I'm gonna try to pack a so 5 hours before my flight, trying to pack a suitcase. That's for the birds. All right. And I just realized I am going to be out of the country on the 5th of November. So I have to plan accordingly. I'm not going to be back until like the 12th, I think, which is literally a whole week after the 5th of November. I was like looking at the calendar, looking at the days I was going to be there. I was like, oh, I'm going to be there on the 5th. Okay. Interesting, not planned at all. A dirty flip corrected to reveal four cards. The Queen of Spades, Ten of Diamonds, King of Clubs, and the Jack of Spades. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Clubs, a purifying light, a renewed mind, a moment of timelessness. Excuse me, a moment of timelessness is this energy, it's a time outside of time. It's almost like, especially with the purifying light and renewed mind, it's where we get to see, we almost step outside of time. And with this clearer perspective, with this clarity, with this whatever, we get to almost do a life review, but with this new information. And so there are some stories that grow a layer deeper to reveal. There are certain things that change because of whatever is revealed. And we just see it in like a completely different way. And I love the renewed mind, especially because we had the murky mind or will and clouded vision. Queen of Spades, operating as a unified whole, living the example of a heart that shines from the depths of the soul. Ten of Diamonds, a blistering heat and freezing cold that lies at the heart of creation. The truth of the heart made plain, beginnings. The King of Clubs, where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence, nesting, and preparation. Jack of Spades, the beginning of self realization, the beginnings of self realization, caring for one's mental space, preparing to welcome something big. So we get the nesting and preparation and preparing to welcome something big between the king of clubs and the jack of diamonds. We get the heart that shines from the depths of the soul and the truth of the heart made plain with the queen of spades and the ten of diamonds. Love, tis, energy. Cool. I mean, Crucial was like, getting it right might be tedious, but better than the alternative. Or maybe not. Elemental Oracle. Ooh, that was a clean fall. Dirty clean fall. It's the desert solitariness, number 13. Interesting because the desert is the locale, the environment that's been denied rain. Bottom of the deck is east, beginnings, right? Yeah, that's one word that has popped up quite a few times here. Beginnings. So maybe it's the beginning, certain deserts forming, and it's the beginning of certain droughts ending as that rain is sort of relocated. Now that those velocities that coalesce water that concentrate rainfall in this area are being busted with Kushiel, the cloud buster, rain can naturally form in the areas it's supposed. It brings about a certain balance. Am I gonna read the desert? Probably not gonna read the angel that comes out either, but maybe. This is also interesting though, because the desert was the archetype that was the signal to the Queen of Swords, who was looking for a sign after or around the solar eclipse. And in the well known alchemy, it was that hand popping up in the desert. And it's almost like there's almost a little bit of an energy that is waiting for us to ask. And it's because when we are in a desert, when we grow up in a desert, regardless of if the desert is man made, we don't expect rainfall. So we don't necessarily think ask for rain. But it's almost like the mother of swords, the empress, is waiting for, was waiting for someone in the desert to ask. Almost like for someone to ask the impossible, but earnestly ask of the possible. Not waiting for someone to be like trying to manifest rain, but it rained in 20 years, so it's gonna work out. Oh, I'm gonna ask for rain today, but I get my hopes up. So it's like earnestly ask for, because someone earnestly asks. It's almost like this whole domino chain effect that ushers in a rebalancing of things. I'll just leave it there. Remiel, Angel of Visions at the bottom of the deck. We began the shuffle at the cut with Samikiel, Angel of Vengeance. It may feel like some kind of vengeance, but it's just like a balancing. Rain is going to fall in the areas where it should have always been raining. And if that means that it rains a little bit less in areas that should have been more naturally arid, or that should have been as wet because not every ecosystem environment needs to be a rainforest, then it's going to rain a little bit. The angel that came out is Chokmah, the right eye wisdom with Gavura and left hand judgment. There is a wisdom behind this judgment. I said I wasn't going to read. I'll be- I wasn't. Oof, I got to go to that. Let's sit still long enough to read Chokmah, right eye wisdom. Okay, it's like Spanish or Italian, not English. I mean, I could. It's so funny. I was like, I'm gonna read Chakma Right Eye Wisdom, and it's in a language I don't understand. Now I could butcher this language and attempt to read it, but maybe I should have been more clear. Chakma Right Eye Wisdom, the second emanation of vessel to hold that which is most precious. The first gate out of potentiality and a step into the realm of the known word. He is the beginning of a lifelong journey whose path disappears over the horizon. Where Keter is the pen that hovers over the page, Chokmah is the moment of content. From nothingness, wisdom is formed. Thingness of the Oshos and Tarot the day before yesterday. To have insight into that which is not known is a gift that is not bestowed lightly. The great orb breaks the surface of our consciousness. Descending from the summit of the tree, we see its duality begin to form. Dharma sits atop the pillar of mercy, forming the first masculine aspect of the diagram. Its partner Vina opens next to reveal the two eyes through which we see the world, found in birth, intuition, and the subconscious. So that has. Well, I hope you all have an amazing whatever when you when trying to go to the bathroom. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're it's like all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and when you find. And I hope that whatever you need, maintain the integrity of the truth of, you allow that to be held holy or sacred or true and to not be tainted by falsehoods. So, see you later.